Hamjambo, this is Ruth Kamau, and welcome to Wasafiri Africa, where we celebrate Africa and things African. In 1994, Kigali smoldered from a gut-wrenching ethnic cleansing that horrified the world. But the resilience of the Rwandese people clawed back not only their humanity, but also their nationhood. Like a phoenix, the city has morphed into one of the most economically vibrant metropoles on the continent. Kigali is not only known for its swift and efficient civil service, but also as a center of arts and culture and increasingly sports. Almost smack in the middle of the African continent, Kigali pulsates with life and expectancy. Twendeni, Africa is ready. Maye Srouji graduated from the London College of Fashion with a BA in Fashion Promotion, which included a major in broadcasting. This propelled her into the working world in Johannesburg, where she touched on a PR and Journalism Consultancy with the Development Bank of South Africa in the Innovations and Entrepreneurship department, whilst adding a sprinkling of fun as a professional model with ICE models. The call of the land of 1,000 hills soon had Maye in Rwanda. Here, she picked up another consultancy with Girl Hub by Nike Foundation, and later a role as creative director at Village Group in Rwanda. Fast forward to 2018, and Maye found herself in Cape Town, where she signed up as brand manager at Mille Collines, a contemporary African fashion and lifestyle brand. As life would have it, Mille Collines was born in Rwanda, the country of Maye's maternal lineage. Soon, Maye's flair for fashion, brand positioning savvy, and business acumen had her assuming the role of CEO in 2022, a role she's still holding down the reins for with effortless grace, which is what Maye Srouji is all about. So let's flow into conversation with Maye Srouji.
Bonjour, bonjour.
Bonjour, ça va?
Ça va bien, merci.
Okay.
Et vous?
Moi, je suis très bien parce que tu es ici.
Oui.
Ça
Thank
va?
you for having me.
Yes, my broken French.
It's very good.
It's very good. Full disclosure, Maye is a niece to me. But you know, who said we can't keep it in the family?
It makes it extra special.
Right?
Exactly.
Thank you so much for saying yes.
Thank you for having me.
I never take these things for granted because, you're a professional. And she just rolled her eyes, people. What is that all about, Maye? It is true.
Yes.
This young lady here was featured in Fair Lady?
Fair Lady.
Fair Lady magazine. Yes. This is a serious magazine.
Yes.
So, you know.
I think you lose track of you're just so focused on the day-to-day that these little things are just,
It's recognition. It's celebration.
Exactly.
Which is what we do at Wasafiri Africa. We celebrate Africa and things African, and what you're doing makes us so proud. I sent a text to your mom and I said, oh, your baby girl's all grown. She's shining. And she says, my baby girl's not a baby anymore.
Yes, time does fly.
Time flies. But congratulations, Maye.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I think we don't really, or at least I don't really pay attention to these things. I think, like I said, you get submerged in the day-to-day and the train, and you're just push. That it's like something happens, you get interviewed, and it passes, and it's just, I don't really often take the time to actually be like, wow. This is.
Well, we're helping you do that.
Thank you.
We don't want you to get, what's the word, narcissistic?
No.
Yeah, we'll bring out the slippers very quickly and tell you, hey, get back in line. But in the meantime, while you are still practicing humility, which is such an important aspect of being a good leader, then we will celebrate you.
And the work will keep you humble.
Right? I remember when you told me that you were being offered the role of CEO, I was like, Maye, you do realize now it's on you.
It's a lot of responsibility. It's a big weight on your shoulders.
Yeah.
It's I think when I was offered the role, a lot of the tasks I was already doing, but I guess when someone is like, okay, do you want to do this, like really do this with the title and everything, then you realize, oh wait, okay, this, you know, it's different. There's obviously the legal aspects. There's, you know, you're signing everything.
It's on you.
It's on you. It's on you. And all these lives and all these people and, you know, the companies on you. So
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, but you know, it's amazing. You know, I think of serendipity often when I reflect on certain things in life. And as I said in the intro, you know, the land of 1,000 hills.
Yes.
Rwanda is affectionately known that way.
Yes.
And your company is
called Mille Collines,
which is
so the land of 1,000 hills in French is le pays des Mille Collines. And yeah, the brand was founded in Rwanda, and it's actually the team that voted for the name. So they're like, okay, we need to come up with a name for this brand. And the team at the atelier, everyone like wrote the name on a piece of paper, and somehow unanimously they all went for the same name. So the brand was actually called Atelier des Mille Collines.
Okay.
In 2009, and then it changed to just
Mille Collines,
which means a thousand hills. Exactly.
It's so apt. The way you went into that role, it was not premeditated.
It wasn't premeditated at all. I had actually met Ines and Marco, the founders, back in the day in Rwanda while I was working for Village Group. We had been approached for a project to make coffee packaging as gifting, so with sort of I don't know if it was with the government at the time. It was a government project to promote sort of coffee in Rwanda, because obviously coffee is a huge export in Rwanda. And at the time, coffee wasn't really being consumed in Rwanda itself. So you'd go to sort of big government offices, or even just sort of, you know, the ministries, all that, they would serve Nescafe.
Oh, so the instant coffee.
Okay. And consumption of coffee in Rwanda was just not a thing. And so at the time with Village Group, we were working on a strategy to sort of, you know, change the approach to coffee. This has nothing to do with fashion. Coffee. No. Coffee consumption.
We want to learn about Africa, and this is just an interesting aspect of the history of coffee, modern day Rwanda.
Exactly. So coffee consumption in Rwanda, but also taking pride in these beans that on an international level are being recognized, are being ordered. So coffee was mainly something that was exported, like the best quality, like we were winning prizes, all of that, but it wasn't being consumed locally. So when I was with Village Group, we were working on a sort of a national strategy in terms of consumption, but also, you know, building this culture and this pride around the coffee that we're growing. But I think one of the side projects, part of that, it was kind of a separate project, but more in the general sense, was to create coffee packaging as gifts. So if you're gifting Rwandan coffee, it comes in a very beautiful package. So we were a design company. We didn't produce anything ourselves aside from... We're a design company, but focused on commercial spaces, interior design for commercial spaces, and product design and brand sort of strategies.
You know, it's so interesting hearing you speak about this, because we've never talked about this. We don't talk about these things, you know. And so, of course, then your eye was not on fashion. This was more on a finished product, design. You know, packaging something. Right, and then you came to Cape Town. And you were born in
Kinshasa.
In Kinshasa.
Yes.
Yes, I always forget that. I always think it's Johannesburg.
No, I was born in Kinshasa, but we moved to Johannesburg. I was 4, so I was very small, and I basically grew up.
Look at you.
Yes.
So you were born in the DRC.
In the DRC.
Grew up in South Africa.
Yes.
And then you, of course, like went to London.
Yes.
Did your work, your education there. Came back, found yourself in Rwanda.
Exactly. And
but now as an adult.
As an adult, I spent 7 years in Rwanda.
And then came here.
And then came back to South Africa and came to Cape Town.
And came to Cape Town. Amazing.
And it's funny because in the end we didn't end up doing so. We contacted Mille Collines at the time to help with the manufacturing of the coffee packaging.
Yeah.
It didn't end up happening. Like the project didn't end up happening. But I stayed in touch with Ines and Mark over the years. And I found myself in Cape Town, and I guess serendipity.
Absolutely.
And ended up working for Mille Collines many years later.
It's amazing. And so here you are, and now you did fashion promotion in London.
Yes.
And could you just give us more insights about what that entailed?
So fashion promotion, it doesn't exist anymore. But at the time, it was really
as a degree course.
Okay. It's at the time it was a combination of journalism, PR, and broadcasting. And when you start, you do all three, and then you major in one of them. So I chose broadcasting as my major. But essentially, fashion promotion is about the communication of fashion. Whether it's visually, whether it's written, whether it's kind of a deep dive into fashion in terms of how fashion is a reflection of society.
Okay.
How sometimes trends are kind of born from sort of the ground up. Sometimes fashion houses sort of dictate the trends, but sometimes these trends are picked up by very small micro movements within societies. Like you get different groups, and they decide to dress in a specific way.
Yeah, or sometimes it's a celebrity who does something, and then it becomes a thing, no?
No, usually it comes from somewhere.
Celebrities is not somewhere?
No, well, like celebrities have stylists who are the ones that are actually...
Good point.
Exactly.
Good point,
actually dressing them. But there are obviously celebrities that have their own sense of style, and they can also start something. But it's more like on... I don't know, like, goths, for example. That's kind of a subculture.
Yes.
It's more subcultures that sometimes end up sort of growing.
Yeah. So they become aspects of whatever it is that becomes mainstream.
Exactly. And then it becomes more mainstream where you'll see a fashion house pick that up.
Yeah.
And then maybe it's like all very like...
Trendy.
Yeah. But that's a, very sort of outdated example, but... Yeah, it's kind of a mixture of you always have to look at what's happening around in society and the changes in that kind of influences. And lots of things repeat, so people will go back in history. So the 90s will
yes, retro and what they call retro.
Or Y2K, sort of the early 2000s. Yes. Or, and cycles will repeat.
So with broadcasting, did that cover, obviously it's the media, but when I think broadcasting, perhaps my idea of it is quite narrow because I'm thinking about radio, television. Does it embrace print as well?
No, there was no print and broadcast. It was literally they put cameras in our hands and they taught us to film, to edit, to just go out there and find stories. I remember one of the exercises, often it was group exercises, but for example, they pulled the names out of different boroughs and we pulled a name out of a hat, and our assignment was to go to that neighborhood and find a story and film it, and and it was very open, so it didn't have to be, it could be social, it could be cultural, it didn't have to specifically be linked to clothing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
It was more, So it was really learning how to make short videos for TV, or just learn how to shoot, learn how to edit, learn how to. It's a form of journalism in the sense that you're approaching strangers.
Yes.
Learn how to look for a story, but it was predominantly the filming for TV.
And then you came to South Africa and you found yourself with DBSA and you were consulting for a short period of time in the innovation and entrepreneurship.
Exactly.
So London, Johannesburg, very different markets.
Very different, yes.
What did you find to be extremely stimulating, and what did you find extremely difficult about adjusting into that role coming from the UK and then into Johannesburg, especially because you went to innovation and entrepreneurship?
Yes. Well, I think one of the biggest challenges for me was moving into a corporate environment after being a student in a creative
you were so
industry.
freelance,
I was very, very sort of, I don't know, and obviously I was the youngest person there because I had just graduated and I was 22, 23. I turned 23 there. So you're in this big corporate organization and, most people are much, much older than you. And, you're a 23-year-old kind of floating around trying to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
But I think what was interesting is they would, so there was a in-house magazine.
Yes.
Which I would basically, the Innovation and Entrepreneurship department had different projects. Like one of my favorite projects actually was the Soweto cooling towers.
Oh, yes,
that has the bungee jumping.
Yes.
So they took a group of us and, they had like very fun projects.
Those are iconic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they basically have a host of different projects, and every now and then they would host either a conference. People within the DBSA were also encouraged to share sort of different ideas, different projects. So it was sort of multi-layered. So there was the department's own events and conferences that I would cover. I'd film for them, write sort of articles and about the actual event.
I can't even imagine you doing that. It's like it's just another layer to you.
And it's funny because it was quite a while ago, so it feels like
and you're really digging into the
archives. It was multi-layered. I would say coming out of university, for me, it was more sort of, and I think even today, most of my experience have been in small startups, creative companies. So these big corporate companies that have so many employees, you kind of get lost in the middle. But I would say I was given the opportunity at a very young age, which I'm grateful for. Being in meetings, sort of very official meetings with people that are older than you, learning how these things work.
Did it feel good to be back home? Were there aspects of it that you found difficult personally?
I think what is great about working on the continent, which I found, and I always say, is there are countries like Rwanda, for example, where you will get positions at a younger age that you wouldn't necessarily get in Europe.
Yeah, because you're coming with this global experience,
Exactly.
so to speak. I mean, London is a global city, so even if you're not at the helm of something, you still get the trickle down effect.
People are more open to giving you certain chances and letting you prove yourself and grow in the job. The positive is the country, even within the government, I mean, they're very open to electing younger ministers.
100%. I think we've seen that, and it's also within the government. One of the things that stands out about Rwanda, just looking at it from the outside, it's the government's running a very business-like way.
Yes.
There's performance reports from ministers that are required.
Yes.
Yeah,
and they look at someone's potential and what they're doing, or how, and they're willing to give you that responsibility. And this is outside of the government there, because there are a lot of startups also. And at the time, I was creative director when I was 23.
So you think that, okay, so you come from London and then you get your chance to, with DBSA to explore what it is to work for a big organization.
Yes.
But at a very grassroots level.
Yes.
And then you go to Rwanda and this country is now budding, it's blossoming.
Exactly.
You so kind of just went in right at the right time. Yeah, so the timing was perfect.
The timing was perfect.
Yeah.
And I met my former boss, who's also a mentor for me.
Okay.
I mean, he's the one that started Village Group. And at the time, there were no design companies. There were advertising companies in Rwanda. That was and I worked in an advertising company for a while.
Yes.
That was the most creative job that you could find there. Everything else was very like NGOs or corporate. Banks. No, there wasn't really a fashion scene.
And where's Amin from?
He's from Rwanda.
He's also from Rwanda.
He's from Rwanda, but trained in design, product design also. And he came to Rwanda and started I think he worked with MTN for a bit, but he started a coffee chain called a coffee shop called Chocolat, which was one of the first coffee shops, but beautifully designed, and everyone was obsessed with how he would do his interiors and his design and all of that. And then he started Village Group, which was basically a design studio for mainly interior design for commercial spaces, product design, and brand strategy, like I said, but it was very new to the market. And there was one thing that we did with him, and it was called design thinking.
Oh, yes.
And design thinking is really centered around understanding the user. So everything revolves around the user and their experience.
Fantastic.
So, which is really, and it changes the way you see spaces, the way you see products, so you design according to that.
Yeah.
Gone are the days of everyone stuck in their own cubicles, but how do we make a more friendly
and stimulating environment.
Yeah,
I would imagine that time is probably the same even now, but because Rwanda is growing so quickly. But I would imagine there was an excitement at that time, and almost like, why not try this? Why not try that?
Yes.
Everybody was first to market. Whatever you were doing, you were first to market at that time. But Rwanda is still going through a lot of development. How does it feel when you go back? Do you see? Like you say, there were no coffee shops.
Yeah, well, now there are loads of coffee shops. Rwandans are drinking coffee. They're like, it was. In Rwandan culture, coffee was never really a thing. But now, I go to some of these coffee shops packed. People are having their meetings there. Like the culture around coffee shops has completely changed. Lots of new restaurants, clothing brands popping up, lots of events now with the Ball Africa.
Oh yeah, basketball has really
basketball. They've really become the center for conferences, big conferences.
Marketed itself very well, Rwanda has. I mean, when you consider how soon after, the torrid history that, through the genocide, how quickly Rwanda has turned itself around. It's very impressive. And it's not a huge country by any standards, not just African standards, but generally. Yeah. So then you're here in Cape Town and you're with Mille Collines.
Yes.
And I guess there's a sense of affinity which you've alluded to. It was not intentional, but it's there.
Yes.
Because literally the brand that you're championing is named for your maternal country. And your father is Lebanese, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, but he also had he obviously lived in Africa.
For a long time.
For a long time.
Yes.
And you had time with him in Burundi, right?
Yes. So my parents actually met in Burundi. My mother is Rwandan, but is part of a generation that also grew up in Burundi. So that's where my parents met. My father had a company in Burundi, and the company was making cocktails in a can, like pre-mixed cocktails.
Yes.
So you'll get.
He was doing that.
So you get rum and coke, you get gin and tonic, you get all of that. So he set up a factory in Burundi to do that. Back in the day in 2010.
Wow.
But I think it was a little bit too early for the market. I think the market was too small at the time. Probably would have worked if he had expanded in Johannesburg too, possibly.
Yeah.
But even Tanzania, I think but unfortunately he got sick or he got ill at the time, so he wasn't able to really, he's much better now, but he wasn't able to continue with that project. And I was between Burundi and Rwanda, and then I ended up deciding, you know what, let me stay in Rwanda and find something.
Pursue a career there. So then here you've been with Mille Collines since 2018.
Yes.
Your brand is so sophisticated.
Thank you.
Yeah. I know that we talk about it being a lifestyle brand.
Yes.
And it really is. I find it very uncluttered, if you like. Very simple, straightforward lines. And the way you celebrate the different aspects of African design is very commendable, because a lot of your patterns are actually unique to Mille Collines, right? I mean, like the weaving patterns and the drawings.
The drawing, yeah. So we design our own prints. We usually, I think one of the key values or the biggest values is to preserve the craftsmanship or the heritage in the countries that we are
and where
based
are you?
in. So currently so our headquarters are in Cape Town.
Mm-hmm.
And we produce in South Africa, predominantly in Cape Town.
Mm-hmm.
We also have our flagship store, so one of our first stores that we opened in Nairobi in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And
is that the Village Market store?
The Village Market store,
okay.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a team in Kenya and a CEO in Kenya.
Oh.
That run sort of the brand in Kenya, but obviously they're still very linked. So the design happens here in South Africa.
Yes.
And some of the production, Kenya also produces some of their own styles that we don't have on this side. So it's kind of...
Like, it's catering to the market.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then in Rwanda, we do mainly sisal weaving. It is something that I want to explore further in the future.
So that's the home products?
No, it's more accessories. It's part of the jewelry. It's sort of like the woven sisal that's sort of inserted within our necklaces.
Oh.
But I do want to have to see how we can have some sort of presence in Rwanda in the future, because we're called Mille Collines. And
for a reason.
For a reason,
yeah.
Exactly.
And I'm sure you'll find many things. You know, the thing is about intentionality.
Yes.
And then it starts jumping out of you, exactly. From every angle.
Exactly.
And Kichana, which is one of your best-selling items.
So Kichana was first launched in 2016, and it was part of, at the time, this was before my time with the brand, we used to participate in Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week.
Oh, yes.
And
here in South Africa.
Here in South Africa,
yes.
in Johannesburg.
Mm-hmm.
And the Kichana was designed as part of one of our collections, and it was really inspired by how women, I'd say East and West Africa, it's kind of both, sort of wrap themselves in fabric, right? Mm. And because Mille Collines has always been, we don't impose our designs on our suppliers. We work with the existing craft that's inherent to the country.
Okay.
So South Africa, for example, knitwear is a very old industry. We have some of the best wool and mohair in the country. So when we kind of started doing the fashion shows in South Africa, the team at the time started experimenting with knitwear, because knitwear wasn't really something that was done in Rwanda before. So as part of the collection, it's funny because you kind of pick from different parts of the continent and it sort of creates a story.
Yes.
So the idea was really, how... we use kangas.
Yes.
We sometimes also, if you're cold, you use it as a shawl.
Yes.
So the idea was, how can we take this concept and make a wrap or a shawl? But, sometimes you have, because it's knitted, it's heavy, it falls. Our creative director, Mark, designed it with an armhole.
Yes.
And then that kind of transformed the way it's worn, because yes, you can put your arm in it, but you can put your head in it. But this idea of being able to take a fabric and wrap it and wrap yourself in different ways. And Kichana, I believe, means comb.
Yes, in Kiswahili.
Yes. And one of the values of Mille Collines is natural beauty and celebrating natural beauty. And this is where it picks from different parts, because how in kangas there's always symbols and
yes, there's a message.
There's a message,
yes,
or a specific shape has a specific meaning or symbol.
Yes.
So the first Kichana had a comb pattern.
Oh.
And it was really to celebrate this idea of natural beauty.
Yes.
Also at the time, even in South Africa, there weren't a lot of black models being used in fashion shows. It was mainly white models being used in fashion shows. And this is South Africa. This is Fashion Week. But, And Mark and Ines were like, no, we want all black models. We're on the continent. We're not to say that there aren't non-black, Africans, but they really wanted...
It became more intentional.
It became more intentional.
There was such a It was such a void. I remember with Mercedes Fashion Week. I mean, if you took the pictures, there could have been a runway in Europe.
In Europe,
yeah.
So it was really very much intentional about celebrating Black women and celebrating natural beauty. So.
I don't think we should be apologetic about that, and I celebrate Mark and Inez for having the boldness to pursue that, because we are on the continent and the people are of the continent, and we should be reflecting the diversity on the continent. So, I celebrate them for that. I love my kichana. May has gifted me 2 kichanas for my birthdays, different birthdays, and I love them. And I kind of crave for winter just so that I can wrap myself in the kitchen. They're very understated elegance. And as you say, because you can wrap yourself, and it's reversible. It's reversible. Yeah. So, it means it's 2 different colors on the same, the same wrap. And I was looking at your website and I saw that this gorgeous hint. No, actually I'm not, but I do have to celebrate what you're doing. Is it a spring collection or is it a winter collection? Where do you aim? And I would imagine that your online market is very international.
Yes.
And so what do you call them? Would you call it your spring collection or is it your autumn collection?
So we don't do collections.
Oh, see now, that's very clever because you take care of that problem right away.
We basically focus on designing statement pieces.
Okay.
That's and we release sort of new products every few months, 2 or 3. So we release a few products maybe twice or 3 times a year because they take time.
They
to produce.
do.
It's
They're
not fast
beautiful.
fashion. It takes
it's
time.
not fast fashion. It's not.
And usually there will be knitwear, there will be a summer dress, and the idea is really that we want the pieces to last, so we don't follow trends. We want those, we cater to a very diverse range of women.
Yeah.
I would say 35 all the way up, 60 and up.
Yeah.
So you have to keep a lot of different body shapes in mind.
Yes. Just for the listener, could you tell them what your online presence is?
A website address is www.millecolineafrica.com. And on Instagram, it's just at Mille Collines.
And Mille Collines is
MILLECOLLINES.
Yeah, I think that's important because as we have this conversation, somebody might want to hop on and go and have a look. Because, as you say, it's not fast fashion and it's also timeless.
Yes.
It's very elegant.
Yes.
And now when you say that you're catering for such a broad target market, it also helps me understand why you cut your product in a certain way because they're very complementary.
Yes.
And you could be very silhouette and you will look amazing, or you could be a little bit more rounded and you'll look amazing. So I saw that there's a Basotho
Basotho coat. It's beautiful.
That Basotho jacket is just amazing. I think it pays such good homage to the Basotho people with the blankets, in Lesotho.
Yes.
So when I saw that, I knew that's exactly what you guys were doing. And if anybody has watched the Black Panther, the people who live in the mountains, in the cold places, they're reminiscent of the Basotho people in Lesotho. So you would, if you remember the movie, they're wearing blankets. And a friend of mine, actually, I didn't even know this. So she Facebooks and she asks me on a DM, Ruth, where can I get this? Where can I get that? Where can I get that? It was part of everything. But obviously they could never reveal that sort of thing. And, so a lot of the jewelry, a lot of the fashion was all drawn from the continent. And so when I see what Mille Collines is doing, I celebrate that as well because it's important for us to give it names that identify with a culture here.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So that Basotho jacket is just stellar.
Yes, it's
and then it was even so good to see that it's unisex.
Yes, it's unisex. Yes, it's like a kimono coat. It's made from wool and cashmere in the Eastern Cape.
It has cashmere.
It has cashmere in it.
Must feel divine.
It feels very soft and it's warm and it's like it's It's a bit of a hug, like you can wrap it.
I think that's the best way to it. Yeah, it's
very
a hug.
bold and graphic. But I would say our approach to design is very like Scandinavian approach to African design, if that makes sense.
So I saw that. No, that was in the Fair Lady.
In the Fair Lady,
so
yes.
why Scandinavian?
Because Scandinavian aesthetic is known to be quite minimalistic.
Okay.
Quite clean. And I think it's just a way for people to kind of understand or
the reference,
right? In terms of kind of looking at prints and finding a way to interpret this in a contemporary way where many people can connect with it and feel like they can wear it. Obviously, for us, storytelling and giving credit to where the inspiration is coming from, where the stories are coming from, is very important.
But I don't find your fashion Eurocentric.
No.
Yes, I hear what you're saying about the minimalistic, but in my head, I'm trying to think now which ethnic group on the continent would probably, and I'll think about it, and I'll probably, that's good homework for me, because I don't find I find it easy to relate your fashion, Mille Collines fashion, to the continent. Yeah. And there's this other item that's coming out, the bubu dress.
The bubu dress.
With
the bananas on
it.
Yes.
It really is one of those that, a 5'9" model will look amazing, and 5'0" lady will look amazing.
Will look good in it. Yes.
It's amazing. And what's your favorite item?
My favorite item
at the moment
is that I have two items. There's one I actually got for my birthday.
Oh yes,
which I love, and it's called the Bahari.
Oh yes, I remember that one as well.
The big fluffy mohair scarf that's dip dyed to create sort of it's like a homage to indigo dyeing. So obviously it's not actual indigo dye, but it's the same color, and it's dip dyed, and it creates like a gradient.
Yes.
And your ends are very fluffy and like white.
Yes.
But you have this stark contrast to the blue.
And again, it's unisex.
And
it works very well on men, silhouettes as well.
Yes.
I mean, there's not when the women model it, it's completely feminine. Yes. When the men model it's masculine, and that's really speaking to the creativity of your creative director. It's really amazing. It's beautiful.
It's warm. It's fluffy. It's made in the Eastern Cape also.
Okay.
Mohair from South Africa. That is 100%.
100% South African. And the second piece of fashion.
The second piece, I would say, is it's called our Uhuru set.
Uhuru?
Yes.
Oh, as in freedom. In Kiswahili.
Exactly.
Okay.
Most of our clothing names are actually in Swahili.
Yes, I did notice that actually.
We try and pick names with the team.
It's amazing how much homework I did with Mille Collines, considering you're always in my life, And I'm like, Maye does Mille Collines. And then, I'm going to talk to Maye. Let me do some homework. And I'm like,
find
baby girls, grounds.
And it's a matching top and pants, but they're very flowy. It's like a palazzo set, so wide-legged, kind of cinched at the waist, but there's an elastic at the waist, so it's at the back, so it can fit.
So the elastic is at the back, and the front is like a band.
It's a band.
Yeah, so us women with our little muffin tops.
Yes, it's clean at the
you don't want elastic.
No, clean at the front, just the elastic at the back for ease.
Yeah.
And it has like a sort of an oversized, not too oversized, but flowy shirt on top. And the print, there are two different prints, and the idea is to sort of continue the set and do it in lots of different prints.
Where are they hand drawn from?
At the studio. So we do digital printing here in Cape Town.
Okay.
So our designer at the time, it was Sarah, hand drew. When I say hand drawn, it's sort of digitally on a tablet, but she's drawing herself, and then they get transferred and then printed digitally. And this specific print is called The Desert Night. And it was part of a collection that was inspired more by North Africa. So we were looking at Morocco, at Algeria, looking at architecture.
I just love this.
The shapes. So this one was really sort of inspired by the Sahara Desert. So you have like shapes of dunes, but little palm trees, a few sort of,
This podcast, it has a life of its own. Honestly, because I just gravitate to someone, and as they speak, it just pays such homage to the continent.
Yes.
It honors this continent.
Yes.
And when you think that Wasafiri Africa is about celebrating Africa,
yes.
When we say Africa, it's just not, the outline of Africa. It's the people of Africa,
yes.
the resources of Africa. It's the food and the music and
culture.
And so when you tell me, look, that's Basutu. Oh, this is because of Uhuru, so that's all Kiswahili speaking. Then North Africa Desert Night, and I'm in love with your brand.
Thank you.
I really do celebrate what you're doing there, and I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
It's a good time to be doing it, because I think also there's a lot of African people now. Africans themselves are moving towards. Promoting African products?
Yes,
and
made in Africa.
Made in Africa. They want to identify with that. And I think we're doing so well on the global stage with independent stores in the big capitals of the world. And people are like, but those people are from here, which means that you can get it here,
yes.
even if it's not that particular brand. There is exciting fashion being had here.
Yes, there's a lot of designers doing wonderful things.
And so who are your other designers that you would think?
I really love This Is Us. They're from Nigeria.
This Is Us.
This Is Us. And they really, really work with traditional indigo dyeing. Like they go to the what's it called? Those pits, the indigo dyeing,
where they actually
do.
Yes.
So for me, that's really preserving sort of heritage and culture.
So
and
expensive indigo fabric.
But the stuff is beautiful.
I'm sure it's beautiful. This Is Us.
This is
from
us,
Nigeria.
From Nigeria. Mm-hmm. And I think what's beautiful about it is these are crafts that if people don't keep practicing,
we must preserve them.
They die out. They need to be preserved,
and they need to be made mainstream. Maybe not mainstream, but they need to be available.
Yes,
let me say that they need to be available. I'm not going to say mainstream, because the whole process of
it's not.
It's time consuming,
exactly,
and it requires a lot of knowledge passed down.
Exactly,
and so we need to honor that as well. So I think there's one of I was watching a clip when I was doing research. There was another brand that I saw that the weaving, and I guess it's the same with Mille Collines, it's done by hand.
Yes, it's done by hand.
Yeah, so you need to honor that.
Yes.
It's not a machine made, some machine that's working 24 hours. It's handcrafted, and so it's going to have that particular time taken that needs to be honored.
Yeah.
It's not going to be...
Same with same with the production of clothing, like seamstresses.
Yes.
There's someone that's cutting the fabric.
Exactly.
There's someone that's making the pattern. It's adjusting. It's all that's sewing your clothes. And that's hours. That's someone's
putting in,
and it's putting in their time
and the knowledge that's handed down.
Yes,
especially in Cape Town. I mean, we can really say that within the coloured community, they've had a long history of pattern making, being seamstresses, and so we have to honour that and celebrate that, because it's very specific.
Yes, and it's not easy.
It's not easy to come by, especially when the younger people start moving away from it because they were looking. That wasn't such an attractive career,
I think also, the difference obviously between fast fashion and then what we're trying to do is that you're really taking the time to look at how something is stitched.
Sustainability.
And how it's made, the fabric, but also, how it's stitched affects how long it will last.
So when May is not being a busy bee, and she's having fun, where do you like to hear your music from the continent?
I listen to. It's funny. I get a lot of new music on TikTok.
You're not the first person to tell me that.
Funny. I learned so much on TikTok, but I get a lot of sort of, someone's playing this, or you hear this, or you just learn about a lot of...
So on the continent, do you have a preference? Maybe one or two?
As an artist?
Artist, type of music, doesn't matter.
I like Afrobeats. I think Afrobeats particularly because in Rwanda... you know how Amapiano is big here?
Yes,
and,
yes.
In Rwanda, Afrobeats was always very big from I think it's like South Africa has caught on recently.
Yeah.
Well, not recently, but in the last few years.
But Afrobeats was always big in Rwanda.
Like big in Rwanda.
Okay.
Obviously, Rwanda has their own, also like has their own music, but I think Afrobeats. I like, and I think this is because I was born in Kinshasa, I love Congolese rumba. I think it just makes it feel like home. I'm actually going to a Congolese wedding later this year. I'm very excited because I know that they're gonna play like Kofi Olomide and it makes me think of my childhood.
Yeah.
There are a few South African artists.
I don't want to influence people's choices and I don't want to show my bias. But when people choose what I like, I go, okay.
There's so many. There's so many. Food, plantain is my number one. I love plantain.
Yummy.
I love plantain. I love... in Rwanda, the equivalent of pap is called, like in Kenya to ugali, but with cassava flour. So that's ugali, plantain, mizuzu, we call it mizuzu. Mizuzu, but I think that's what you call it in Congo. It gets mixed.
Yeah, but you guys are like neighboring each other.
Yeah. Something called sombe, which is cassava leaves. It's like a spinach.
Okay.
You also find it in Congo, also in Rwanda, also in Burundi. It's like cassava leaves, but with small bits of fish. So good.
So people talk about food and their whole body language changes. Their voices get very sensuous. They're talking about food, people.
Grilled fish. I think in Rwanda, if you go to the lake or in a certain...
Do they dry it in the sun and salt it?
No, it's more like they stuff it.
Stuff it with what?
So they grill it on the fire, over charcoal, whatever. They stuff it with onions, peppers, chili sometimes.
Do you know how to make that, May?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say I need to taste it.
I need to try one of these days.
I
need to try one of these days. What else? Beignet.
Oh, yes.
Which is mandazi.
Yeah, mandazi.
Basically.
But beignets are a little bit different. They're softer, I think smaller.
Yes.
A little bit
smaller. Samosas.
Yeah.
That's what I love.
Oh,
here...
good.
I think when I went to Lamu, had the best samosas in my life ever.
In Lamu?
In Lamu.
It's an old heritage city.
Yes.
I mean, Lamu town.
Yes.
But so you can imagine
that
is passed down. I was going to tell you that my favorite place for getting plantain is Ankole in Nairobi.
Okay, good.
This restaurant, Ankole.
Okay.
I go there and I gorge on those plantains. Every time I'm in Nairobi, I'll go twice. Even if I'm there for 1 week, I'll go twice and I'll eat those plantains.
Because you can't find it here, or you can, but
no,
it's
you
very
can
rare.
in Long Street.
Yes, but
it's the preparation. I like the way it's done in Ankole. And where would you like to go, or where do you like to go on the continent?
Senegal. That's on my list.
Senegal comes up a lot.
Yes.
Okay.
Food, design, culture, art, history, everything.
Hey, Senegalese people, you are coming out very strongly here. The tourism market from the continent is just booming in your direction.
Senegal is top of the list. Top of the list, I would say. Obviously, there are other countries, but Senegal for...
Okay, can you think of anything anywhere else? Because Senegal is just taken over the brain.
Cap Verde.
Oh, that's also coming up. That's strong.
Ghana. Ivory Coast. I'd love to go to Ivory Coast.
So you're doing West Africa.
I'm doing West Africa. Because I've done a lot. Well, not a lot. I've been... East Africa I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
But West Africa, never.
You want to go.
And North Africa, obviously. Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia. North Africa.
And we're in
Morocco.
East Africa, not Rwanda.
We're in East Africa.
No, let me not say East Africa, because then that leaves where Kenya, Tanzania. No,
I've never been to Ethiopia.
Okay.
I'm curious about Ethiopia.
And you like Ethiopian food?
I love Ethiopian food. Sorry, I missed that.
No.
Food
I just asked because, going to Ethiopia,
yes,
eat Ethiopian
love
food.
Ethiopian food.
Okay. That's good.
Tanzania, I haven't been to Tanzania before.
You haven't?
No, I haven't been to
Tanzania.
Tanzania.
Really?
No.
Oh, there you go.
No.
See? So you can go there.
I've been to Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi.
So now you need to go to Ethiopia.
Now I need to go to Ethiopia.
Yeah, and because you like the food anyway.
Exactly,
it's so good to go somewhere where you can eat the food, So even if you don't go too far,
good coffee, good food.
Yeah.
Also craftsmanship.
Yeah,
jewelry,
and I love Ethiopian
textiles.
dresses.
Exactly.
Actually, I love their fashion.
Yes.
I was doing research for my book, and I was wondering what kind of garment this woman's going to wear for her wedding. And, I was looking at different things, and then it says something just said, look at traditional Ethiopian dress. And I'm like, oh, okay, let me have a. I was bowled over, because once again the weaving,
yes,
with the cotton, the embroidery, and the colors are so rich. There's the solid midnight blue, the solid red, the solid gold, and it's just really amazing. And also, the weaving they do on the actual dresses. Yes. My dad would buy us Ethiopian dresses when he went to Addis Ababa, and now I have. My daughter and I, we just love Ethiopian dresses.
No, they're beautiful. Good leather also.
Yes.
They're known for leather, jewelry. There's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. My goodness. I mean, for fashion, you're in the right continent,
Yes, definitely. There's so much inspiration on
There's a lot of inspiration. And I think as you travel and discover West Africa, you should make this as business trips.
No, the dream is to produce, long term is to produce one item in as many countries, like an item in each country.
Yes.
It's just that obviously logistics and
I think it's 55 countries now. So on the continent. So
look at a craft that's inherent to that country, and the dream is to produce there. It's just that obviously right now logistics operations. It's a dream.
Yeah, and then our travel within Africa is really expensive.
It's really expensive.
It's very expensive, but we hope that as the markets open up and there's free trade. Exactly. And what was the one thing, do you think, if you had to say, okay, the one thing I really want for the continent? What would it be?
I would say trade.
Oh, would you?
I would say trade between countries, easier logistics, easier so that we can all sort of grow together. And because I would love to produce things in Nigeria, in weaving in Senegal or in Ivory Coast, or for example, your Kichana is inspired by the Mali mud cloth. The specific one you have is inspired by mud cloth. So that print, that pattern is mud cloth. So it would be, as a brand who
one can see that actually.
Yeah. No, it's just the knitted version of it. But the dream is to work with artisans and craftsmen in each country where that particular craft is inherent to that country. And design something there and make it there.
You know what, May? I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
And, just sitting here and having this conversation with you has been incredible because you're in my life all the time, but we don't talk about this. And so this is another layer that I've discovered, which is amazing. And I just want to wish you the very best.
Thank you.
I mean, really, Africa is your oyster, in the sense that go forth and discover, enjoy, and, just glean from it and get ideas and celebrate our heritage and, regurgitate it in the most beautiful way in this wonderful fashion with Mille Collines.
Thank you, and I wish you the same with the podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Sharing all these stories, all the journeys of different people.
Yes.
And
Thank you so much, May.
Thank you.
Twendeni, Africa is ready.